missed the Port Commission meeting.
Are we ready out there, Mr. Chairman? All right, so, 10 o'clock, this call is Port Commission meeting of January the 17th, 2023 in order. First part of the meeting is comments from the public. Do we have a public out there wanting to comment, if they would please at this time?
We just have one person on Zoom and no comments.
If there are no public comments, we'll move on to the consent agenda. And that's approval of the minutes of December the 20th regular meeting and accept the harbor master's report and maintenance. Have a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? No nays, motion carries. We'll move on to the reports. Receive the financial reports of the Port Revenue Department. We have the sheriff report, county agent report, payment report, revenue and expenditure report, balance sheet and property distribution report, and profit and cash loss, profit and cash flow report. If you would, Susan, please.
You got me tired already listening to all this.
You got a lot of work cut out for you.
Okay, the tariff reports start on page 25. I'll give you all an opportunity to look at those.
So comments, let's move on to the agent report.
Mhm. As usual, you did receive an aging report in your packet that was for public consumption. And we have provided you with a separate sheet this morning that is updated. Rachel has made a few notes on that. Why did we change the description?
I think so. I think it's there on the agent report. I'm curious.
There's nothing.
I don't know.
No, we're not, because the only, no,
You're not there, they're gone.
they're gone. Yeah. The only thing that, well, that doesn't even include them either.
So, yeah, railroad assets, all those. All the rest of stuff belongs to somebody else.
Yeah.
Or-
But we're getting $200 a day for that dredge.
I know, great. Yeah. We all know,
No, well, I think, the tenants are doing that. Well, the only thing that's there is that crane, that
Yeah.
man walk, and not, they're fixing to start billing him, I think, for sitting there. Encore is.
They with those dredge works and all that stuff.
On that track 3 property, they actually bought that from Delacroix auction. The stuff you see stacked up on that fence, stuff that they bought, the dredge floats, there's a couple of other things in there too, I mean. We're already paying.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, I'm not.
Encore? Yeah.
Track three.
Round three.
Yeah.
The only
Yeah.
thing that's actually there is that big crane, and that's between Encore and the folks that own that crane. They're in the process of moving it. They moved it already once or twice, but hadn't moved it off the property. But that's between Encore and
One last question, and I won't bring this up again, I promise. But that little, Whitmer, is that his name, that owns the little?
It's gone. They left this morning.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And without, they didn't tell anybody, but it's, I got a call last night about 8 o'clock about a boat being down there. And I went there first thing this morning, it was already gone. It hadn't even made it to the ship channel yet.
All right.
Yeah.
No more than $200 a month for the day rent.
Well, now we got to just collect it. We
Yeah,
haven't
we
collected it.
invoiced, we haven't collected yet.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and say this, that thing was there, probably would be documented at least a year.
Yeah, we just started, what, November?
November 1st.
Yeah.
Maybe that's.
It's sitting there and it's always on our property, so we.
$200 a day for.
We've invoiced them twice, I
I know.
think, haven't we, Rachel?
They were sitting there for years.
Yes. Yeah.
Relaxing.
Well, I think, and I tell you how we arrived at November 1, because it was so convoluted, it was kind of
Yeah.
leased to,
Different people. and there's-
Yeah,
it's-
and
it's
so
quagmire.
that's how we got started with November 1st. on that. Of course, we haven't collected anything from him, but
there's some past dues on that agent. It looks like that we're on top of it. I really appreciate that. So chasing that from the Port Commission. Let's go ahead then and move on to the payment report.
Let's start on page 37.
The day room cleanup, that just.
that's the whole building, the
Oh,
whole,
it is.
yes, sir, that's the whole building. Yes, sir. I'm not sure, I just saw that too. Let me see.
Is that a monthly charge?
Sir,
Is that a
it's
monthly?
$600 a month,
Oh,
I think, or was it more, Rachel? Did we? It may be more, maybe like 650 or so.
Are you talking about this
The monthly-
$3,000 one?
Matt Hogan Court.
Oh, no,
that's-
we're gonna get reimbursed by
Yeah.
insurance.
Oh, that's that, okay.
Yeah, we filed a claim and so, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a one-time.
Issue in the day room.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
No, we still use Harvard record floodlights. I think we may be the only floodlights of those kind left in the entire country. Everything else has changed over LED, so. The highway stuff, everything, so.
As soon as they become available, I'm sure.
I'll check with,
All those lights personally yesterday. People right up to the local electrical supply place, he's got 440,000 women. So they're available, just, this excuse, and I can't get them. And they're lights all over town.
You're talking electrical. What is this C&E building electrical in here? Is that preparation for the nautical building?
I don't know.
where's that?
Where's the
$100.
page 39?
That was probably,
They prepared the drawings, but.
that's probably what that is. I don't know.
The electrical engineering? Where are you at?
It's the second bill down there, or the first one.
4,770.
Yeah, that would be Tessinger for preparing the plans.
That's the document preparation for the.
Well, part of it, I mean, the whole, it was, I think the whole thing was 7,000 or so, I forget, but yes, was towards preparing the plans for bid.
Like $2,500 will be a minimal expense. and
Oh, no.
that was very bigger numbers.
I don't think it was never quoted only 2,500.
Let's move on then to revenue expenditures.
That starts on page 40. You're at 25% of the year through December 31st, how this is presented. And you'll note that your user and service charges are just above or right at 22%. And your other revenue category is well above that at 126%. Your expenditures, obviously, year to date are only at about 5% of the budget. So your revenues and expenditures overall are running, revenues are coming in well above your expenditures 3 months into your fiscal year. The detail for all their various accounts is follows.
On that front page, page 40, under expenditure summary, I don't see the nautical landing building. Got nautical landing marina. And we're already looking at, what was that? I just mentioned $4,700. Were we missing a line there?
It's probably buried in the operations category, the operations department, where the nautical landing building is. So if you flip, so each of these categories, so the expenditure summary, each of those categories are quote unquote a department. So your financials follow as your technology services come first, then City Harbor, then Harbor of Refuge, then Nautical Landings Marina, and then operations.
Yeah.
And so if you go down to page 47 is where your operations begin. And then on page 48, I believe your capital expenditures. And then you'll see the category infrastructure, $5,048. I believe that's where the Testinger expenses gonna be in. Well, well, hang on. Yeah, that's,
It's probably come out of contractors. Yeah.
yeah, probably so. Sorry about that. Well, the description over here,
The 95,000 is under,
the description over here says, CE building. Okay, CE building.
which is at 95,000.
So. Yeah,
But we don't
doesn't
have-
show under
Anything else?
current period expenditures, though.
Yeah, we'll just look to see where that's charged to.
Well, and it could be, well, they say this is for December. So obviously, this report is, I'll have to check and see how they're running this report. It may be that it's just not lining up with the period in question.
It's in the building,
Yeah.
hasn't been deducted that amount, it's still sitting at 95. We'll let you chase it down for next time.
I sure will.
Let's keep moving, please. Let's look at property, the balance sheet, property tax distribution. And property tax distribution, Mike had requested an explanation if we were getting our share of the tax revenue on our property, that's what that was about.
You're getting your share. So property taxes are levied by the city. So when the city levies property taxes, it's for maintenance and operations and interest in sinking. So those funds, yes, albeit property taxes were levied, and there have been a total of $3,696 that was levied for property taxes on the tax exempt leases. So that's the total revenue that would be generated from the property taxes on those leases. Now, of that amount, so again, you've got interest in sinking, which goes to pay the debt service. So when the city levies debt, they officially have to say so much is going towards debt service, so much is going for maintenance and operations. So the city did levy that debt, and the property tax, and of that total levy, $200, close to $300 is for interest in sinking, and then $3,400 would be for maintenance and operations. Now, I don't know if the city, if you're officially wanting $3,400 to be transferred from the city's general fund for maintenance and operations over to the Port Commission fund. I guess we can
look at that, but only after we've collected it all.
Yeah, so to date, though,
But it's such
of the amounts that were collected from the tax that was levied, so just because the tax is levied doesn't mean the tax is paid. So of the amounts on the maintenance and operations side, because again, you can't have anything on the debt service, on the interest and sinking. But that is levied, that is marked, we have to, that goes into interest and sinking. But the maintenance and operations side, what has been collected to date amounts to about $1,700.
Yeah, but we know for a fact that the taxes were paid in December. There was about $35,000, $40,000 from Helen.
No,
well, that's not
Okay.
these property tax.
no, it's not on the leasehold.
Tax get transferred on the property that's there. The tanks, the buildings, everything. They are paying taxes about $37,000.
That's
Okay,
personal property.
That's personal.
tax.
That's different.
City has been getting that every year.
Yeah.
Okay, the question is as to where and how we have the agreement that we transfer to us. Because
Where is this
What
agreement?
agreement?
Where is this agreement?
I give up.
I've never been told this, so I don't know.
You and I have discussed it at least 10 times.
Yeah, but never
Okay,
that
I
I'm
don't
not.
wanna give up. Let's stop arguing.
What council has told me is that anytime Port Commission has a project that they would like to do, and there's not enough funds in the Port Commission budget to bring it to council for their consideration, and they can do transfer of funds. So that's not an issue.
So they're not being directly paid to us.
No, they're not. They wouldn't pay the city.
Well, I mean,
We've had this
There is no
before.
us and them, guys. Remember, this is all the city. This is the city. It's just whether it's Port
Do things that we want to do.
The council.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you know, my understanding has been that it would be transferred us to the property.
I've just never been told that. Okay, I can talk to council and see if there was an agreement before I came around that I'm not aware of.
I don't think there's any agreement there. I just said, but you and I have discussed it time and time again about, and I've asked the question at least 3 meetings in a row.
Yeah, and we look, there was no need to. I mean, it's a financial paperwork thing that council would have to approve a budget amendment.
As you know, the taxes on Helena were not paid for 2 or 3 years. So who followed up that? I did.
Okay.
Jesse got it and they couldn't. So that, you never got that. You still wouldn't be getting it.
But it goes to the city of Port Lavaca.
I get it. It's a city tax.
Yes,
The only question is whether it should be transferred to us for our operation.
that is the question. Yes. And that's a question for council.
Council has expressed that if we have a need for. funds,
Yes, they've said that
we
repeatedly.
can approach them, and from their general funds, they will help us out. Otherwise, the discussion probably needs to be done in private.
Yes.
Now, going back to where we started, the profit, the balance sheet.
So starting on page 50, you have it's just the balance sheet. Essentially, it's provided there to show you what your cash position is, which at this point in time, you have $633,857. But realize you guys operate on a budget. So. There are no questions there. We can move on to the snapshot report on page 55. I'll let y'all take a look at that.
While we're on City Harbor, reminds me, is that, are we getting any income off that bridge over there?
Prestige. Yes.
And then that's over there because we don't have access.
We have moved
To
from
track
commercial
3,
cash on,
Yeah.
Profit and loss and cash flow. Go ahead.
No, I mean, that's there because we cannot provide access to Encore to
Okay.
theirs because of all this legal stuff, you know, the bankruptcy and everything.
I guess the only thing you're really pointing out is on that final page, page 59. Again, it summarizes the tax.
I want to go back and ask the question, if you don't mind, on the Port Commission snapshot at Smith Harbor. We have October at 1600, November at 1665, in December at 1665. Do we have a missed revenue report on that?
Not sure I understand.
Yeah,
your
I'm
question.
lost too.
The number appears to be static, and if it's a revenue, he should have been paying rent to us.
That is rent, 1665.
No, I think he had a MCI, didn't he go up?
Is that what? is
I
that
think
what
so.
changed?
I think that's what I think that's what it was. I don't know. Rachel, does that sound right?
Pretty sure. I'm almost, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yes.
Okay, that's the MCI change. Okay.
yeah.
Well, it doesn't look like it's a 3% increase or 4% increase, so that was in at least, I don't remember that.
No, it was an MCI. It's,
Well, the MCI between the years, as you know, was about 10% or 4%.
Rachel, I don't know that for a fact. They haven't, I don't know what it was.
Go back and look at our notes on the
I just saw the
calculation.
change, don't remember authorizing. Okay, go ahead.
What?
I mean, it was per the contract, whatever it
About
was.
4%.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not 4%. It's been 20 since 2 years.
Well, we'll go back and double check calculations, but
And with the contract.
With the
that's in
contract, yeah.
place.
Okay, maybe it says 4 times. I don't know.
no, it wasn't. I mean, it may have, I don't remember, Rachel, if it was one of those, that was minimum 2, maximum 5, but
Probably.
yeah.
All right. Let's move on to agenda item 4. Action items, re-status report, renovation of nautical landing, wastewater.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Susan.
Thank you, Susan.
You're welcome.
Agenda item A, renovation of nautical landing marina breakwater. Ms. Jody?
Okay, on the breakwater, there's an email in here from Matt, just that they've got to get some approvals from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife and Texas Historical Mission. The Texas Historical Mission submittals has been sent, and the U.S. Fish, they are waiting on a response from the Texas Parks and Wildlife. And he's hoping that he'll be able to have all this cleared up by the time that we're able to proceed. Of course, we've signed the contract with Parks and Wildlife, but we're still waiting for them to send us back the executed contract. So in the meantime, he's working to get these other approvals done. So hopefully, once we get the contract and we're able to go, we'll be able to go out for bid soon.
We have not seen this before. It's the Texas Historical Commission. How does that play into what we're doing?
Because this is the grant. I don't know, Matt, are you on there? Do you want to explain any? You're muted.
Oh, here I am. Okay, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so these are just some standard documents that are required for all grants. It's just a notification that there's no historic site that would impact the construction of this. I don't anticipate anything coming up about it. I mean, they're also making us submit to TDLR for ADA approval, and you're not even building any pedestrian facilities. So it's just a bunch of boxes that have to be checked in order for them to let you proceed.
So that's where we're at.
Never ending bureaucracy of government grants.
So what is the status on that then?
We're still waiting for, Parks and Wildlife sent us the grant contract. We did sign it, sent it back. So we've got to wait for them to go through their process to get it executed on their end and send it back to us.
Move on to agenda item B, CDBG mitigation grant, coastal resilience project.
Okay, in the packet is a progress report that I got from Mont McDonald. They're still working on things. We haven't had another meeting since our last meeting, last Port Commission meeting. If you look at the email, we're proposing to have another meeting with Mont McDonald to go over everything the week of February 20th, which probably is still right after the next Port Commission meeting. And so with that, then hopefully we'll be sending in the application for the core permit soon after that. And in the monthly report, gives a detailed progress report of where they're at with everything and anticipated dates. Right now everything's on target for hopefully an issuance of the core permit in a year, this time next year.
February 1st of March, we should have
something pretty concrete then?
Let's see, when the date to actually submit, prepare an application and permit plans. Pre-application meet. So they're looking at having everything to submit sometime in April with a pre-application meeting in May. And actually submit the permit application in June with issuance in January is what's on the schedule right now. If you look on the first page of the progress report on the page 63. And so, yeah, the next step is a meeting to discuss alternatives evaluations. And then their technical memo on that, those evaluations, which is to happen the latter part of February. So that's where we're at with that.
On to property values and evaluations.
Okay, this one, I got just included a copy of the email from Mr. Yander and saying that he's working on everything. And I don't know if this says when he's going to have it. I expect to have the first of the reports to you shortly. We got this, I think, last week. So they're working on it, and as soon as we have anything, I'll let you know. And I did, reiterated to him, if he finds that he's missing anything or needs any additional information, just let me know, and I'll get right on it. So they are working.
Go on to agenda item number 6. Receive Harbor Master's Operation Promotional Development Activities Report. City Harbor Nautical Landings Building, Nautical Marina, Smith Harbor, and Harbor Refuge.
So we skipped over 5.
I'm sorry?
We skipped over agenda item 5.
Sure did. Back it up. Thinking it was very short. Sorry, looking at agenda item 7, I'm going, wow. I apologize. I skipped over agenda item 5. Status report from TECQ of June the 22nd, track 1717A.
Okay, this, in your packet, I gave you a copy of the latest correspondence that we sent TCQ at the end of December. And where we're at, I mean, everything's okay. What we still have outstanding is actually submit to them the paperwork associated with depositing or sending all the debris that we collected to the landfill. That's been delayed for weather delays and some other things, but we're going to have it done before the end of this month, and then get that submitted to them. And then we have submitted, or just waiting for information or correspondence from TCQ in Austin on our submittal on the voluntary restoration project.
When we're on that cleanup, what are we doing, or what are we looking for as far as the remediation and the removal of the stuff that is on track 17, 17A, and 16? I was out there this weekend. And,
Yeah,
looking stuff out there.
they have until the end of March to get all that moved off.
This is the
Encore,
folks that were on it on.
Encore, yeah.
And then we still have responsibilities for all those oil, container bins, whatever may be in them. I don't know what's in them.
Dirt.
Yeah, we don't have
any.
any, there's no oil out there at all anymore. There's nothing.
So what ownership do we have out there, and what does Encore have to make the place a little more? It won't look good for quite a while. We've got to get that thing cleaned up, all the brush piles, a lot of pipe and stuff. I know Encore is working towards that. You say they have till the end of March?
To get all their materials and equipment off, yes. And I think all that will be left is that building, right? The building,
the living quarters.
that should be all that's left. Because that was left from the previous tenant.
Previous tenants.
Does that include those plastic tote bins? There's some barrels out there.
What's,
A lot of,
Are you talking about right there where that kind of that pipe rack is, when you're going on that road that they built in there on the left?
yeah,
I think that's some of the operation stuff, but no, that'll all go. That's not.
yeah, the only thing that's got, there's one out there that's marked as used oil, but other than that, there's, there
That's
should
the
be
area
anything out
where
there.
those 250 plastic totes and stuff looks pretty well organized, so somebody's keeping up with it. I didn't know if that was the part of the
Where's that?
TCQ or is that
No.
Encore?
No, that's Encore.
That's Encore, so they are keeping an eye on.
No, the black drums that you see, like in threes, that.
That's
there's
got
dirt in- Yeah, there's dirt in.
That's
those.
what we
when
need to
they-
haul to Victoria landfill.
Yeah.
Yet.
But aren't,
That's
CRGs,
they're gonna do that?
yes,
Okay.
they, and actually, you know, probably maybe this week. I mean, he was gonna do it a couple weeks ago and that didn't work out. And so he's telling me like any day now, they'll be down here to get rid of that.
So you and Jim or somebody staying on top of it, that it's still, the cleanup is still moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
no, it's, we're still going.
Alex, I was out there too, within the last 4 or 5 days. And, you know, talking about this, trying to market property and get property appraised for its valuation, looking at all that area out there, can we agree on an objective of cleaning that area up at some point and having it so that it's mowable with a tractor?
Yeah.
It would be nice if we could have all of that out there cleaned up. And understand we're gonna inherit the gun range.
What do you mean we're gonna inherit the gun range?
They're turning back their.
Well, the city is building another gun range. That's what I heard pretty direct. A private gun range for the police department.
I mean,
Right?
No, there's been discussions, but it's down the road.
No funds
Yeah.
have been approved.
Yeah, no
for that.
funds.
The gun club has been notified that they're gonna have to get off.
Really? Okay.
That there's no longer gonna be the police operating a gun range there.
I'll have to talk to Colin because
They were notified probably about the police department, I suspect. The police department, is my understanding, is moving to get a private gun range for them only. And that means anybody who's on there leasing that.
That's probably years down the road. though.
very, yes.
Yes,
So we're
I
gonna
mean-
recover that property
That-
as soon as the police move off of it.
that's years and years down the road.
It's several years down the road.
The gun club has been notified, it's imminent. Okay?
I'll call him today. I'll call that. I'll call that Brett.
Yeah.
Where I'm trying to go.
Anyway, yeah.
They would like to lease the property from us.
No, where I'm trying to go with this, let's make a record today. That our objective for that whole area out there is to get it in a condition.
Sure.
where we can mow it with a bush hog and have it marketable. That's number one. Number two is at some point, we need to be headed for being able to clean up that old disposal area so that it's in some way usable.
Well, we know that we can't do anything out there until we do all that and we get TCQ approval to do whatever we're wanting to do. We're not going to do anything without their blessing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's put it down somewhere, and I would like for us to start checking progress on how we're doing with this project and others, so they don't fall off the table.
Yeah.
And we keep them in our.
And we are
Nice.
getting dirt, so good soil out there.
Yeah.
We towards that end.
There's a lot of potential for that property out there, but to make it attractive to a possible tenant, right now, we got a ways to go.
I don't know who's responsible for the gun range. I assume it's the city and the police department. But that is so well maintained.
I mean, we don't maintain that. I mean, the
It's gotta be
gun
the
range,
club.
yeah, gun club
And
does that.
going to the gun club, I don't know if they actually got notice from the police department. I think the police department overstepped their boundaries.
Well, I think, I mean, there was a discussion like a year ago about that possibility, but it's nothing that's imminent. I
Well,
mean,
that's what I'm saying.
I mean, I think, yes, the police department's, going in that direction. But again, there's nothing's been budgeted. There's no definite plans. But heading in that direction at some point, but there's been no date given that this is going to happen at this point.
Again, the gun club is concerned. We were talking directly to one of the individuals, and there's another individual who was with me, you will be able to talk to him and get ready. All you gotta do is ask the question. We were told point blank that they were gonna have to get off and like to lease it from the city and keep out there.
I think they are leasing from the city.
Well, they don't, I mean,
It's not-
it belongs to the city,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it belongs to the, we could have them leased to it right now, but it's not because there's, an agreement between the police department.
That the gun club is gonna lose their occupancy. And so they are making plans to do something else, and they were curious about whether they'd be able to lease that property out there.
Well,
And the answer is that they probably would. We probably want that for development purposes.
I mean, I guess that's a discussion that can be made, that at whatever point the city does not need that, do we want to eliminate that gun range altogether, or is that something we would entertain leasing that to them?
Well, it's a gorgeous piece of property.
So-
Go out there and look at it, and I think they've done a great job of.
From this discussion, I'm hearing that's a long, long way off.
I mean, I would think at least the
Gun club and allay their fears.
I mean, it may not be 10 years. And let me talk to Colin again. I mean, we don't have anything budgeted this year for sure. And I don't know that we're going to have anything next year. I mean, I would think we're at least talking 3 to 4 years, but I'll talk to Colin again and see where his idea is.
In that discussion.
Well, I'll just say this. I don't know if you remember, but the members of that club are the ones that, they're the ones that paying. I mean, the city doesn't pay anything, the county doesn't pay anything, the Coast Guard doesn't pay anything, the state doesn't pay anything. Kind of got in the middle of all that, and then I kind of got shut down because I was gonna try to get, some funds, for them using it. And nobody liked that idea at all. If you remember when we redid the road and, so
They believe they contributed to the road.
they did, no, they did.
And the second thing is they only take $9,000 a year to total dues for their 300 members. So it's not a lot of money,
No,
but it's man time. There are people out there working on it,
yes.
mowing it,
Mhm.
stuff. So, I mean, they've done an outstanding job. Yeah, I mean, I was surprised. I never heard that the police department was considered, but the words were, they want a private gun range for their own use. That's the police department. And it's got them enough to know that they're gonna have to be looking for another place. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
conversation on Friday.
maybe, well, it's at least 2-3 years down the road. It's not next
Well,
year.
if the police department leaves, that makes it.
And I don't even think it's gonna be in that location.
No, I mean, where they're,
This was, okay, you're talking about a dream that hasn't even been put into paper or costed out. I mean, this is not,
things take long time to happen. We know, yeah.
The media seen the guys who was talking to us when we were there, was the media. Scene. I have no idea where he got that from.
Well, I'll have another conversation with Colin.
well, somebody there was a little bit overzealous in what they must have overheard. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'll call that president and find out.
Good
and
idea.
I'll let you know.
Well, let me talk to Colin.
I would have not intimated at all that we were going to lease that property to them. It's a lot more valuable than that lease is to us, for other purposes. Got a lot of cleanup that has to be done.
Yes,
Going back to what Megan was discussing.
Yes.
We do need, it's at least March, sounds like, before, and we need to stay on top of that. So if you bring it up periodically, rattle our cage, I know that Jody and Jim are doing their job and Encore is moving forward. Come the end of March, then we need to try to figure out, Encore has been donating and contributing their dozer and manpower to clean some of that area up. So I expect that they will continue to do so.
Again, we have to be very, very careful what we do, that we don't end up disturbing the top.
Jody, is there a boundary line between the trash pile and the other property?
That the entire 75 acres is in the landfill.
Engineering study to define that.
We do not have one budgeted at this point. I mean, right now, our priority is to secure and protect that shoreline so we don't continue to have erosion and trash. Yeah, that, yes.
The thing about it is, if you would say that, but we're still putting brush on top of that, in that area.
Well, no, that area, we haven't had any problems with trash debris there and where the brush pile is, but it is technically within the boundaries of the landfill. Yes.
You're telling me we can't touch it, but we're putting brush on it every day.
No, I'm talking about up in the area, northern part.
I'm asking, can we draw a boundary which will allow us to deal with the brush area that's being?
We can, I just honestly, I mean, we gotta be talking $100,000 for that study. I mean, you've got it.
At least $500,000, maybe more.
Well, we don't have that money right now. We just don't.
I can tell you, I think our end goal with talking to everybody is to get that place cleaned up, maybe seed it with
Yeah.
Bermuda grass or something, where we can, keep it mowed, or maybe lease it to somebody to cut hay on or something, where they keep it. I don't know, but I know we've had a lot of discussions.
But anything,
It's just about it's
right.
all about the money.
but
That's
anything
the problem.
beyond that is gonna, would, and TCQ's words require an engineered, solution to their use, their land
I
use.
want to understand this clearly. You're saying we've got to get some permission to even go out there and cut grass.
Yes.
To just to cut grass, no, but if we're going to be to bulldoze, we wouldn't want to bulldoze because that might, disturb the top layer, because there's some areas that doesn't have a whole lot of cover on it. So we
Yeah,
need to be very careful.
Well, how was it we piled up all that brush out there, Jody? What did we use?
You're talking about in the southern portion.
Yes, I am. That's
Right.
what I was talking about.
And
We're
that-
borderline.
We know
That
that's
part,
true.
we could,
Um,
I mean, we could probably do some bores there and,
Let's not create what doesn't exist.
it's,
No more.
I just want to cut the grass and make it look decent out there.
yeah, and you can do that. It's just, I mean, and we've had this conversation, how do you do that? And they keep telling me, well, there's ruts all over the place and it's
Big-
dangerous. They
big
can't do it.
Randy, there's big sinkholes.
And so we need to fly it with chemical and kill everything first, I
Yeah.
guess.
We had it pretty clean and
Yeah.
we had all the brush piles, and then of course, the next thing, we get all the Johnson grass and the sunflowers, and, my thought was, I don't know if we could get anybody going there. That one part, you could shred it pretty easy without tearing anything up. With the exception of falling one of those holes, and, some of those holes are like this deep, and, we need to get back to them and be able to fill them in, and I'm assuming that that's probably from the trash decomposing over the years, and it just all fall in on itself. I don't know. But in any case, I know that's kind of the end goal. That's what we've talked about, is getting it cleaned up and, where we could actually mow it with the shredder and keep it nice.
So yeah, that's been my question. What is the first step? And if the first step, as I understood, is to try to go kill the vegetation.
Kill
But
the vegetation where we can get in
there's
there.
only certain times of the year you can do that. And
We were
and then-
gonna
and
do it
getting
with the
somebody-
we were gonna do it with the helicopters, if you remember. We
Yeah.
talked about that. Well, that whole deal fell. So I was gonna get, and I talked to John Sterling, and I said, look, we need to spray this. I said, I know the wind's gotta get right and all this. I said, but you need to get us on the books if we wanna get this done. But then Chipper told me, he said, we don't really wanna spray all of our equipment. So anyway, it just,
Yeah, they're getting ready to be gone.
Right, that's true.
Right.
That's true.
Right, once they're off, then it would
we'll
be a lot
get back
easier
on
to
it.
handle.
We've got till the end of March and on.
Yeah.
Don't let us forget about it. Keep us on top of it, man. We're gonna move on. We'll go on to agenda item B. At CRG Limited Phase Site Assessment of Harbor of Refuge.
Okay, there's an email in your packet from John Hogue with CRG, just kind of giving me an update. If you remember, TCQ came back and they wanted another report from us that required some more groundwater monitoring. And it sounds like the new samples are in our favor. He said only one very minor arsenic exceedance, and that should be attributable to just natural presence. Anyway, he's putting the report together, and it should be submitted before the due date, and he'll keep me updated as things progress. So ultimately, the end game here is these are on two different TCQ paths, because this one is originated with our phase 2 environmental site assessment, whereas the other one is totally independent, and that was due to a TCQ inspection. Although the two are talking with each other, and so some of the inspection stuff is held up waiting on what TCQ Austin has to say about the findings with this phase 2 environmental. So it sounds like we're close to winding the phase 2 down. And right now everything's fine with the inspection, other than just waiting on TCQ Austin to decide whether they're going to approve our recommended or proposed voluntary restoration of the site.
Go back to what I've said more than once, and that's we need to continue to try to find dirt. Jim was talking about sinkholes at every opportunity. Let's put something out there to kind of distance.
Well, right now we've got
40, 50, 60, 70 years.
Lester's taking dirt.
Lester is seriously looking for a place to put dirt.
Yeah, and they've been taking it out there. We've been working with Trent Trey to get there.
We need to stack it somewhere, we can get it spread out, find those sinkholes and things like that, begin to address it as much as possible. We've got a few months to go. Let's move on. Now we can go to agenda item 6, okay?
There you go.
Receive Harbor Master's Operation Promotion Development Activity Report. City Harbor Nautical Landing Building, Nautical Landing Marina, Smith Harbor, and Harbor of Refuge. Jim.
Okay, City Harbor, we ran ads in the Galveston County Daily News and in the Corpus Christi Caller. We never received any interest in that track 9 and 9 o'clock. So currently, I kind of put Encore together with Prestige, and they kind of worked that deal out. And I said, look, y'all need space.
What are you referring to?
With the dredges, I'm sorry.
Track 10.
With track 10 with the dredges.
Where the oysters and the old oyster house used to be on the north side of the harbor?
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
So I let them work that out, and I told Prestige they could use that track 9 and 9A for letting them, use that there. So
Are a lot of oyster boats in there?
Yes. Yeah, there's quite a few. Sure is. The Nautical Landings Building, council awarded the repairs, the electrical upgrade, the roof repairs, and that north wall. They approved that on the 9th. So I'm not sure when we're gonna get started. But of course, Barefoot Construction was awarded that contract. We had 2 bids two bidders,
American
American Construction
and Barefoot.
and Barefoot. I think American was 92,000 thereabouts and Barefoot was 78,000.
Yeah.
So somewhere about in that area. The Nautical Lanes Marina. Still hadn't heard anything from Anne Marie with Estes Boat. I've had some interest as far as people wanting to buy. I mean, we could probably hold a auction on site to get rid of it that way instead of posting it, online. So I guess whenever we get to a point where we can sell it, we'll have to talk about that. Abandoned boat, we're still messing with that, trying to get it auctioned off. Horizon had been there 10 times of this writing, which was Thursday of last week, and they've probably been there another 3 or 4 times since. So
What do they do?
picking pellets up,
Oh, really?
and now they're getting blue pellets, is from what the guy told me,
Colored.
a blue colored pellet.
Wonder where
So,
that's coming from.
I don't know. I'm thinking these pellets maybe are blowing. Who knows? I mean, they've got everything shut down, so it's not runoff or anything like that.
Looks like injection comes off the rail line.
I think it's a lot of that's
In the
blown.
water, and it's pushed down.
Yeah.
I don't think it man knows for sure, but.
Well, I think they're excavating Cox's Creek right now. They're supposed to,
Yes.
Yeah.
they're supposed to move a lot of material. And I asked Anthony, I can't remember his last name, he was with Rees and Nichols. And he asked him how they were gonna get the pellets out of the dirt. And he said, "Oh, we're just gonna dig the dirt and it's all going to the landfill in Boone." So anyway. Let's see.
The real question is whether Horizon is doing it. I missed what you said too.
It was just old memories.
No.
Our kids
Oh,
used to
Hudson
swim
Street?
in that.
Yeah,
Ah, yeah. Okay, that's-
your skin might fall off. And that's what
That's
that's-
right.
I guess we had talked to Grace and Nichols at one time, they were gonna be given responsibility for managing Horizon.
I think they're trying to still get that done. I actually haven't had any contact with them since probably the end of November. I
They
think,
are signing in and they are reporting. we're getting
yes,
copies of
yeah, they
their
are,
reports and all that.
yes.
Their manager, site manager, Formosa, as of yesterday.
Mm,
It's Michael Beck. Mike.
Hmm.
I'll tell you an interesting story. I don't think it's private. Is that Rick is going to the Peace Corps.
Really?
He's going to Sierra Leone. Which is
Wow.
interesting.
Wow.
Almost fell over when I heard that. But yeah, Mike's a good guy. He might be amenable to talking about some of this stuff with Horizon.
Is Formosa paying for this expense?
I think so.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's coming out of there.
Part of the settlement.
Well, it could be coming out of the settlement. I don't know. Sure.
Solidifying the settlement position. Agenda item C, Jim.
Okay, Smith Harbor. Of course, we hadn't done anything with that. I guess we'll get there. Hmm?
He's got
A
two
lot of
C's.
activity there on the weekend. There were a lot of people fishing out there.
Yeah.
That's probably what they were doing. Then, of course, the Harbor Refuge, we discussed the aerial spraying. LCI, we're getting a pretty good stockpile of dirt out there. When it rains, that's gonna probably be the end of it for a while until it dries up again, where they can get through that one real bad area on the road. And the steel dredge pipe that was floating along that track 11 property in Inner Harbor. We had kind of got that all worked out. All the steel pipe will be gone. Should be gone from there today. The plastic pipe will have to remain because that's part of that dredge, actually. I think Manson actually owns it. So,
That's part of the equipment system for the dredge, the
yes, yes,
outflow,
yes.
the spoil pipe.
Yes. Then, the cleanup on track 11 and 14, it looks pretty nice out there, actually. They haven't started with, putting down a staging area, I guess you'd say, with that crushed concrete, but that's in the works. We did call, Mike Reeves with Republic to see what, if we can get something done about, where they, over at on that track 14 where the brush staging area is. Try to get somebody to get out there and clean that up. It's rutted up pretty bad. So we haven't heard back from him yet. And then, of course, the mulch. Dawson is actually supposed to be here today to take a look at it. To see when they can come in and start moving all the mulch over to Alcoa. I suspect they probably won't be able to do anything until we get that area cleaned off because it's rutted up so bad. They had the company that was in there doing the mulching, they had a dozer in there with a bucket. I mean, it's kind of a mess, actually. So.
It's waiting now, so they're
Sure.
access.
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure when Dawson was going to come today to look at it, but I suspect they won't be able to do anything until we get that area cleaned up some. I mean, there's just so many ruts,
Yeah, I know, I understand. Out there, it's a mess.
Get someone like Philip to go out there after the Alcoas come out there,
Well,
prep the site so they can do what they need to do.
well, I think we need to let Mike Reeves get back with us and see what.
I mean, if it was caused by the guys chipping, then they're the ones that need to be.
They were
Fix
out
it.
there with the front end loader and dozer last time, so they maybe can dress their own site, dress the site for us.
Well, it's really too wet to be doing that, start with that.
Is it?
Yeah, well, it was. I mean, I think that's why they brought that dozer in, so they can drag all their equipment around with it. But, I mean, I think they tried to clean it up, but I mean, it was still too wet to even really attempt it, but anyway.
All right. Move on to agenda item number 7, comments from the commission. We'll start with you, Administrator Sue.
No comment.
Only thing is we just follow up.
Mr. O'Neill, no comment. Very quiet on the commissioner's part.
Alex, I have something I need to let y'all know that didn't come up in the meeting today, but we were awarded a $200,000 grant from the Matagorda Bay Mitigation Trust. That was for, and things have changed a little bit since when we made the application, but we'll still make it work. But it is to pay for the engineering to get started for a Kepler grant application and ultimately Kepler grant project to protect that shoreline that we're talking about. The grant specifically is for the shoreline that along the landfill. And so now we've got this voluntary restoration project that came in since then. So, but that doesn't take into account the entire length of the shoreline. So I've got a couple emails into Mont McDonald seeing how we can strategize this to, we still go forward with the Kepler grant, but, in light of this, like first phase stuff we're planning on doing, assuming TCQ approves it, and then maybe this project can come back and put some rock, mat down or something on it to hold it, and then we, continue on down the shoreline. But
Protect the peninsula.
the peninsula is separate project, which we're going to do at the same time, but we have other sources of funds for that. That CDBG mitigation money, we're getting like $9 million. that can help go
Those ties
towards
in
some of
the
that.
open Ditch then, because that area immediately to the right is one that's disappearing. We lost more than half.
Right,
that
and,
area.
but if you remember all that project, the project on the landfill and the project to the south, all that was approved and included in the 2023 Coastal Resiliency Master Plan. So then when we go and apply for a KEPR grant, which we will do this spring, I think it's due in June, then if it is approved, which because it's in the plan, chances are it will be approved, then GLO can take on the project, and we are only responsible for, I think it's 60% of the engineering cost, and then they pay for everything else. They pay all the construction and everything. So that's the plan.
Ms. Sue,
I just have an answer on the difference between the, I was gonna let Jody finish. but,
No, I'm good. Yep.
So you all questioned the electrical from Tessinger. The reason why it doesn't show up on your current financials is because, so this report is just listing checks that were cut. Doesn't list the fiscal year or puts them in the period. So this check was yes, actually cut during the month of December, but it's a prior fiscal year expense. So it's accrued back to the previous fiscal year. That's why it's not showing up on your current budget. Okay,
Great.
you're welcome.
we've had comments from everybody. We have a city councilman in the back. Do you have a comment?
I do not.
With that being said, I'll entertain the motion to adjourn.
I'll move, we adjourn.
I have a motion from Mr. Butler to adjourn, seconded by Mr. Meyer. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? No nays, motion carried. We are